You've probably noticed it yourself. As you've passed the big 4-0, your knees seem to make louder, more frequent cracking noises. Sometimes it sounds like popcorn popping under your skin. Other times, it's a sharp snap when you stand up or bend down. That familiar crack or pop can catch you off guard, prompting a mix of curiosity and concern. Is this normal? Is something wrong? Why now, at this point in life, does your knee suddenly sound like a bag of Rice Krispies? The truth is, knee cracking, also called crepitus, has intrigued scientists, doctors, and curious patients for a long time. From biology labs to biomechanics research facilities, experts have tried to dissect the mysteries behind those joint sounds. The answer is not quite as simple as you might expect, because multiple mechanisms intertwine, all changing subtly as we age. Let's start with the basics. Your knee joint. It's a complex hinge built to support your body weight and provide a wide range of motion while protecting delicate structures inside. The key players inside your knee are the bones, femur, tibia, patella, the articular cartilage that cushions those bones, synovial fluid bathing the joint like a natural lubricant, and a network of ligaments holding it all together. When you bend or straighten your knee, these components move together seamlessly to allow smooth motion. But embedded in this choreography are tiny physical and chemical processes that occasionally cause audible noises. One of the most widely accepted explanations is the cavitation or gas bubble theory. Inside your synovial fluid, which fills the joint cavity, gases like nitrogen and carbon dioxide dissolve under pressure. When you stretch or flex your knee, the pressure inside this fluid briefly drops, and gas bubbles can form rapidly, sometimes so quickly they burst or collapse. This microscopic pop is the source of the cracking sound. Think of it like opening a soda bottle. Pressure changes cause bubbles to form and pop, but on a microscopic scale inside your knee. Now, this phenomenon isn't exclusive to people over 40, nor does it always cause problems. Even young athletes can experience joint popping or cracking as gas bubbles form and collapse. However, what changes with age is the frequency and volume of these sounds, and why they happen more often in middle age and beyond. As you get older, the composition of your synovial fluid alters. It tends to become less viscous, reducing joint lubrication. The cartilage becomes thinner and less resilient. These changes make the joint surfaces less smooth and more prone to friction and irregular movements. This creates more opportunities for gas pockets to form and collapse forcefully enough to produce louder noises. So, the same bubble bursting sound gets amplified because of lower damping in the system. Another theory centers on the tendon or ligament movement over bones and joint surfaces. As we age, subtle changes in tendon elasticity and alignment can cause them to snap over bony prominences or rough cartilage areas. This mechanical snapping produces a distinct clicking or popping sound that wasn't as noticeable in youth when soft tissues were more supple. Furthermore, small fractures or rough surfaces in the cartilage as a result of wear and tear start appearing after 40 for many people. These imperfections create tiny catching or grinding sensations inside the joint during movement. The grinding triggers audible crepitus, distinct from the sharp cavitation pops. In reality, then, your knee cracking after 40 is rarely caused by one single mechanism, but rather a combination of gas bubble formation and collapse inside the joint fluid, tendons or ligaments snapping over irregular bone or cartilage surfaces, early cartilage degradation causing rough patches and mechanical friction, changes in joint lubrication increasing joint surface noise. The relative contribution of each depends on your unique anatomy, lifestyle, and activity levels. Interestingly, not all knee cracking is created equal in terms of sound quality. Those short, sharp pops tend to point towards cavitation events, gas bubbles bursting. Long grating noises usually correlate with uneven cartilage contact or ligament snapping. This subtle difference helps doctors assess if your knee sounds are benign or potential red flags. An overall increase in noise, volume, and frequency strongly suggests age-related changes in the joint microenvironment rather than sudden injury. The molecules, fluids, and tissues inside your knee slowly alter over years, and the sounds offer a sonic reflection of these unseen shifts. From a physics standpoint, The joint acts like a resonant chamber. Changes in fluid viscosity, tissue elasticity, and surface texture all influence how sound waves propagate and amplify. A youthful knee, smooth and moist, dampens noise efficiently. A middle-aged knee, with rougher cartilage and thinner fluid layers, acts more like a hollow chamber where snaps resonate audibly. So, next time your knee cracks loudly stepping off the curb or rising from a chair, remember, it's not just noise, it's a window into the complex and dynamic world inside your joints. A blend of chemistry, physics, and biology, subtly changing with every year beyond 40. Of course, this only scratches the surface of what's happening inside. Understanding the anatomical and physiological changes with age provides deeper insight into why cracking increases and what it truly means for your knee health. Let's move into that next. By the time you hit your 40s, nature's maintenance crew inside your knees begins to slow down. It's not a sudden catastrophe, but a gradual remodeling. Some might call it wear and tear, but it's more nuanced than the phrase suggests. Your knees were engineered to endure decades of movement, but the biological materials inside them, like cartilage and synovial fluid, evolve with age in ways that influence both function and sound. Let's dive deeper into the key anatomical players and how their condition shifts after 40. First, the articular cartilage. This glassy, smooth tissue covers the ends of your femur, tibia, and the back of your patella. It's the body's natural shock absorber and friction reducer, designed to crank out countless motion cycles with little noise or wear. Cartilage is fascinating because it lacks blood vessels and nerves. You can't feel it directly, and its healing capacity is limited. Over time, the collagen network within cartilage gradually breaks down. The once plump, hydrated matrix becomes thinner and more brittle. This translates into less cushioning between bones and increased susceptibility to tiny fissures and surface roughness, which alter the mechanical environment. When cartilage surfaces become uneven, your knee joint doesn't glide as smoothly. Instead, friction rises and microscopic ridges catch on one another, creating those persistent grinding noises known medically as crepitus. Alongside cartilage degradation, the synovial fluid, the thick, egg white-like lubricant bathing your joint, also changes. This fluid contains hyaluronic acid, responsible for its viscosity and shock-absorbing properties. Studies show that with aging, the concentration and molecular weight of hyaluronic acid decrease. The result? Synovial fluid thins out and loses its mellow, cushioning effect. Joints become more dry, and surfaces rub with less grace. This change not only affects joint noise but also increases mechanical stress on cartilage, accelerating wear. It's like an engine running low on oil. Parts grind and creak more than when well lubricated. Your ligaments and tendons, the body's flexible ropes anchoring bones together and facilitating movement, don't escape aging either. Collagen fibers in these tissues lose their elasticity and tensile strength over time. This means tendons might become stiffer or slightly misaligned. When you bend or straighten your knee, those tendons might snap or slide over bony lumps or osteophytes. Small new bone growths typical in aging joints, causing that characteristic cracking or popping sound. Osteophytes are a direct consequence of the body's attempt to stabilize joints undergoing cartilage loss. Imagine your knee's bony surfaces sprouting miniature speed bumps. Tendons and ligaments must negotiate these altered landscapes, sometimes causing audible mechanical clicks. Speaking of bone, the subchondral bone, which lies just beneath the cartilage, undergoes significant modifications. As cartilage thins, this bone is exposed to higher forces and reacts by thickening, a compensatory process called sclerosis. While this hardening might temporarily aid mechanical resistance, it creates a stiffer foundation that transmits more mechanical noise during movement. Additionally, the menisci crescent-shaped fibrocartilage pads, acting as secondary shock absorbers, also degenerate with age. They lose shape, develop tears, or become less pliable, further compromising joint stability and increasing noisy friction. Together, these age-related changes decue into a concert of subtle but consequential joint transformations. Thinner, brittle cartilage, with surface irregularities, reduced quality and volume of synovial fluid lowering lubrication, stiffer ligaments and tendons snapping over altered bone structures. Formation of osteophytes, adding mechanical obstacles. Sclerotic subchondral bone transmitting sound differently. Degenerated menisci impairing joint cushioning. Every component shift contributes to the increase in audible knee cracking and popping, as well as sensations of grinding or stiffness. On a cellular scale, chondrocytes, the specialized cells maintaining cartilage, exhibit reduced regenerative capacity with age. Their ability to produce collagen and proteoglycans diminishes, weakening cartilage repair processes. Meanwhile, inflammatory mediators slowly rise in the joint microenvironment, accelerating matrix breakdown and exacerbating tissue deterioration over time. This low-grade chronic inflammation is often called inflammaging and is a subtle but persistent factor in joint aging. What's important to realize is that these anatomical and physiological shifts do not occur uniformly across individuals. Genetics, lifestyle, exercise habits, history of injury, and even diet shape how gracefully your knees age. Some 50-year-olds move effortlessly without a crackle, while others at 40 experience frequent noisy knees. There is no single aging timeline. It's a spectrum influenced by complex interactions. So while your knees may get louder after 40 due to these biological and mechanical transformations, this noise is not merely an inconvenient side effect. It's a signpost, an audible map of your joint's microenvironment changing over time. Understanding this helps us distinguish between normal age-related changes and warning signs warranting medical attention. Hearing your knees crack louder and more often after 40 naturally raises a question that weighs on many minds. Is this just a harmless quirk of aging, or could it be a symptom of something more serious? The answer isn't a simple yes or no, but a nuanced understanding of when cracking is benign and when it signals underlying joint pathology. Let's start with the good news. In many cases, knee cracking, sometimes simply called joint crepitus, is a normal part of life. The popping sounds caused by gas bubbles forming and collapsing inside the synovial fluid or tendons snapping over bone often occur without pain or functional impairment. For these individuals, the noise is an innocuous byproduct of joint mechanics and doesn't signify damage requiring treatment. Medical studies on healthy adults routinely document knee crepitus without corresponding joint disease. These sounds can even be present during routine movement tests in young, active individuals with perfectly healthy knees. So cracking alone, absent pain, swelling, or reduced mobility is unlikely to be harmful. However, as you cross into middle age and beyond, cracking increasingly coincides with early degenerative changes in the knee's interior landscape. This leads us to the threshold where crepitus may herald osteoarthritis, OA, or other structural problems. Osteoarthritis is the most common joint disorder linked with age-related wear. It involves progressive cartilage loss, bone remodeling, inflammation, and breakdown of supportive tissues. OA prevalence rises sharply starting around the 5th decade of life. Importantly, crepitus is frequently reported by those developing OA, often accompanying sensations of stiffness or mild discomfort. So, how do you tell if your knee cracking is ordinary or a warning sign of early OA? The key indicators are presence of pain or tenderness around the knee, especially after activity or prolonged standing. Morning stiffness, lasting more than 30 minutes. Swelling or warmth around the joint. Reduced range of motion or difficulty with certain movements such as climbing stairs or squatting. A sensation of catching or locking during knee movement. When these symptoms accompany frequent or loud cracking, it suggests your knee's internal structures, cartilage, menisci, ligaments may be compromised. Imaging studies like X-rays or MRIs often reveal corresponding changes, such as joint space narrowing, osteophyte formation, or cartilage thinning in these cases. Not all cracking equates to OA, but persistent symptoms paired with noises warrant clinical evaluation. What about the idea that cracking your knuckles or joints causes arthritis? This common belief has been largely debunked by research. No definitive link exists between habitual joint popping and OA development. The difference lies in structural joint changes caused by biology and aging, not noise habits. There is also the related question, can persistent knee cracking cause damage? Current scientific consensus suggests that cracking itself does not cause injury. The sounds result from mechanical or biochemical processes inside the joint, not destructive forces created by the noise. However, excessive or compulsive joint manipulation to produce cracks may irritate tissues or predispose to injury if done improperly. One exception involves meniscal tears or ligament injuries, which may produce audible clicking or popping due to structural disruption. In those cases, the sound reflects damage rather than a harmless bubble collapse. So, in essence, occasional knee cracking without pain or disability is usually harmless. Frequent cracking, accompanied by stiffness, pain, swelling, or mechanical symptoms, may indicate early joint disease. Cracking alone does not cause joint damage but signals altered joint mechanics or aging changes. Understanding this distinction is vital for managing expectations and deciding when to seek medical advice. Ignoring persistent knee pain and recurrent cracking could allow progressive damage to accumulate unnoticed. Conversely, unnecessary anxiety about every pop or snap may create fear without improving outcomes. What's prudent is attentive observation, noting when, how often, and under what circumstances cracking occurs, and monitoring for accompanying symptoms. Early intervention can slow degenerative changes. Lifestyle modifications like weight management, regular low-impact exercise, and joint-friendly nutrition play key roles in joint preservation. Physical therapy can address muscular imbalances or biomechanical faults, contributing to abnormal joint stresses. In some cases, targeted treatments may reduce inflammation and improve functional capacity. Advanced joint disease requires medical management ranging from pharmacological to surgical options, but catching problems early increases effectiveness. So, your ears offer valuable clues. Knee cracking louder after 40 isn't necessarily your enemy, it's a signal to listen closer to what your joint is telling you. Now that we know how to interpret these sounds, let's turn to what you can do to take control of your knee health and potentially quiet those cracks with smart, science-backed habits. Your knees have served you faithfully for decades, bearing your weight, absorbing shocks, and granting freedom of movement for everything from strolls to sprints. The creaks and pops that emerge after 40 are not a sentence, but signposts, a call to action to nurture this vital joint through informed care. Let's explore practical, science-supported ways to protect your knees, reduce discomfort, and perhaps soften those plaintive cracks. First, movement is medicine. It might sound paradoxical if your knees make noise or feel stiff, but regular exercise is among the most effective tools for maintaining joint health. Low-impact activities like swimming, cycling, and walking promote synovial fluid circulation, delivering nutrients and oxygen to cartilage. As joint lubrication improves, the friction and noise often diminish. Strength training warrants special attention. Strong muscles around the knee, quadriceps, hamstrings, calves stabilize the joint, absorbing impact that might otherwise stress cartilage and ligaments. Studies show resistance training can decrease knee pain and improve function in middle-aged and older adults with early osteoarthritis. Balance and flexibility exercises complement this approach, enhancing proprioception, the body's sense of joint position, reducing fall risk and abnormal joint loading that might exacerbate cracking. However, balance is essential. Avoid high-impact sports or repetitive heavy lifting that could accelerate wear. Listen to your body and adapt based on response. Next, nutrition supports the invisible biochemical world inside your knees. Collagen, the primary structural protein in cartilage and ligaments, relies on nutrients to remain robust. Vitamin C aids collagen synthesis, while amino acids from protein provide building blocks. A diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats offers the raw materials your joints crave. Vitamin D has a starring role too. Beyond bone health, vitamin D supports cartilage metabolism and modulates inflammation. Deficiency is common after 40 and linked to joint pain and deterioration. Safe sun exposure and supplementation under medical guidance help maintain optimal levels. Calcium remains essential not just for bones but for muscle function that supports joint mechanics. Combining calcium with vitamin D maximizes absorption and efficacy. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fish oil have anti-inflammatory properties that may reduce joint swelling and tenderness. Clinical studies suggest that omega 3. Supplementation can ease symptoms in degenerative joint conditions. Hydration also plays a subtle yet significant role. Cartilage is largely water, and joint fluid needs adequate hydration to function optimally. Drinking enough water daily supports the physical properties of these tissues and can mitigate stiffness. Adjusting daily habits can ease mechanical stress on your knees. Maintaining a healthy weight reduces compressive forces exponentially. Losing even a few pounds can significantly lessen joint strain and cracking. Mindful movement techniques, such as avoiding prolonged kneeling or deep squats that aggravate joints, help reduce irritation. Using ergonomically supportive footwear aids in proper gait mechanics, distributing forces evenly through your lower limbs. For those experiencing frequent cracking with occasional discomfort, targeted physical therapy can be transformative. Therapists assess movement patterns, joint alignment, and muscle imbalances, customizing exercises to restore harmony. Taping or bracing may stabilize unstable segments, reducing abnormal friction and noise. Emerging therapies, such as hyaluronic acid injections, aim to restore synovial fluid viscosity, curbing noisy joints and easing symptoms for some patients. Platelet-rich plasma, PRP, and stem cell treatments hold promise but require further research to prove efficacy reliably. Don't underestimate the power of small changes sustained over time. Incorporating daily gentle stretches, warming up before physical activity, and pacing exercise intensity can help preserve joint function and reduce episodes of noisy knees. Ultimately, your knee is a dynamic system responding to your lifestyle choices. The biology behind those cracks may be inevitable with age, but the extent and impact on your quality of life are within your influence. In summary, steps to nurture knee health after 40 include: engage in regular low-impact aerobic and resistance exercises to strengthen muscles and enhance joint lubrication. Maintain an anti-inflammatory, nutrient-rich diet high in vitamin C, D, calcium, protein, and omega-3s. Stay hydrated to support cartilage and synovial fluid function. Control body weight to minimize mechanical stress. Employ mindful movement strategies to protect joint integrity. Seek professional guidance if pain or functional limitations accompany joint sounds. So, the next time your knees crack loudly stepping off a curb or rising from a chair, see it not as a signal of inevitable decline but as a cue to care. Your joints chronicle your history but also respond to your choices. And remember, knees don't have to be noiseless to be healthy, but a symphony of balanced movement, nourishment, and respect will keep the music of mobility playing strong well into your later decades.